Winter Term 2012 brings new study abroad options through the Isabella Cannon International Center. 5 new programs will be available, and all of them fulfill society or civilization requirements. The new trips are to Mexico, Puerto Rico, Vietnam. There's a combined tour of Greece and Turkey, and a joint India and Dubai trip. Applications are available online.
Spring break is a nice time to get away, but your empty house or apartment could become a prime spot for a break-in. Laura Levitt spoke with one student whose house was recently broken into and shares some tips so that you can prevent it.
Initially, I was like, oh crap.
Britton Toothman came home on March 1st to learn that someone had broken into her off-campus house.
I was kind of like, well, we leave our windows open all the time, so I'm not surprised.
But the break-in still made her nervous.
At the same time, I'm like, oh crap, that's my house. You know, there are people in there.
No one was in the house during the break-in, but there were some important belongings.
I'm a violinist, and that's one of the most valuable things I own, and I was freaking out.
Toothman didn't have anything stolen, but her roommates lost laptops and cell phones. They could have lost much more.
We were all very relieved that our instruments were not taken.
There's a couple simple things you can do to make sure your house is safe when you're away. The first is unplugging any outlets in case there's a power surge. And make sure you have one of your neighbors pick up your mail. These tips are especially important over spring break when your house is more vulnerable.
Some of the people that live in the vicinity realize the students are gone, and they know a student lives in a particular house, and they'll take that opportunity to break in.
Since the break-in, Toothman and her housemates have become more careful.
We've become like super fanatics about locking everything.
No matter what time of day.
Even when there's people in here, we make sure everything's locked.
Practices like this can help prevent a break-in over spring break. Laura Levitt, Phoenix14 News.
Warmer spring weather is on its way, but as the temperature climbs, so does the pollen count. Doctors at the health center say that students who are hit hard by allergies should try to spend less time outside.
A lot of times you can't prevent them. If you're allergic to tree pollen, if you're allergic to oak pollen, guess what? You're right in the middle of all these oak trees.
But if you have to be outside, here are some tips to help you fight the pollen. First, use air conditioning instead of opening a window. Pollen can stick to your skin, so make sure you take a shower after being outside. Pollen also sticks to your fabric, so wash your clothes and sheets regularly.
You might be wondering how bad your allergies will get over the next couple of days. Grace Sweeney joins us with this week's weather. Grace?
Well, luckily we don't have to worry about any pollen. I checked the pollen count today and it's rather low, and in most of this week we won't have to worry about it either. Today was overcast at the beginning, high of 55, but then we got some sun out in the afternoon, which was great. Tonight will be cloudy, a little cooler with a high of 40 or with a low of 41 degrees and a chance of rain. Tomorrow will most likely be rainy, overcast definitely, with a high of 51 degrees. Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. It's going to be a little rainy for Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday will be a high of 69. Friday will be amazing with 80 degrees, but unfortunately most people will be leaving for spring break by then. And Saturday, if you guys are still sticking around, a little rainy, but still a high of 78. Now let's take a look at if your guys are going anywhere for spring break, some hot spots, and if you're just going home, Myrtle Beach will be in the 60s and 70s, Washington, D.C., 60s, mid-cloudy next week. Outer Banks will be partly sunny in the 50s and 60s. New York City will be high 50s with showers next week. Panama City will be high with 70s and a little bit of showers. Bahamas will be lovely with a high in the 70s and low 80s. So where are you guys going for winter or for spring break?
I'm going to Panama City. I'm glad to see that weather report on the screen.
Exactly, it's going to be pretty nice.
I'll be at the beach too, and I hope it's sunnier than it was last year. It's pretty windy.
Yeah, that stinks.
But now, put gas in your tank and keep money in your pocket with Phoenix 14's Pump Patrol. If you need to fill up before spring break, here are some of today's gas prices around. The Marathon on Haggard is at $3.49. The Exxon on Church Street will cost you 4 more cents at $3.53 a gallon. And the Kangaroo on Haggard Avenue is the most expensive at $3.54 a gallon.
Still need a ride home for spring break? One website is helping students save money by carpooling. The Zimride service is free, and you only have to pay what the driver wants for gas. Students can also go through eNet to sign up for rides under rideshare travel. We're almost We're almost 1 month away from tax day, but don't let April 15th make you nervous. Elon students are here to help. An internship that's a little out of the ordinary. Find out about one applicant next.
My parents say I have to be home.
If you've ever filed taxes, you might know how time-consuming the process can be. Our Brandon Marshall looks into where students can get help filing their taxes.
Elon students who file their taxes think the process can be
time-consuming,
confusing, daunting,
but for others,
easy, simple.
I always forget when that time of year comes around and I'll get something in the mail and I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably do that.
The School of Business and Elon's chapter of Beta Alpha Psi, which is a nonprofit service organization for accounting and finance students, are co-sponsoring a free income tax preparation clinic at the Holly Hill Mall with VITA, a voluntary income taxation assistance program.
I think the benefit to our students is that they will get to combine both their academic background and training and actually put that to practice in a real-world situation.
It's really exciting because we're IRS certified, so we go through this intense training process and then we can sort of help students do their own taxes.
There are 2 clinic dates left that students can attend to get help filing their taxes, the 30th and also April 2nd. Tax day occurs on the 18th of this year instead of the 15th, a Washington, D.C. holiday. This gives Beta Alpha Psi a chance to help students for a few extra days. Brandon Marshall, Phoenix 14 News, tonight.
College students had the opportunity to intern for Charlie Sheen. Freshman Bristol Witcher is one Elon student who applied to win.
I applied for the Charlie Sheen internship because I thought it would be a really interesting experience if it actually worked out. He's such an interesting character in today's world, and I knew the chances were slim, but I thought it'd be fun anyways.
Witcher found out Monday afternoon that she made it to the second round of the selection process.
The baseball team traveled to Boone for their first conference series of the year. Find out how they did on the other side of the break. Welcome back to Phoenix 14 Sports. I'm Steve Roth, and here's what's happening at Elon. The women's basketball team is not done just yet. They have accepted an invitation to participate in the 2011 Women's Basketball Invitational. The WBI is for teams that do not quite qualify for the NCAA tournament. This will be Elon's first postseason tournament since becoming a Division I team. The 16-team bracket will be released later tonight, at which point Elon finds out who they will play, where, and when. On Wednesday, the baseball team hosted their last game before starting their Southern Conference schedule. This one was against the St. Joseph's Hawks. Something never before seen on the Elon baseball field was seen on this day. For the first time in his Elon career, the Southern Conference's all-time leader in saves, Thomas Girdwood, gets the start for the Phoenix. He did exceptionally well as he strikes out a few St. Joe's players here. Later, Alex Swim gets the bats going for Elon as he hits a high one to the outfield. No one is able to get to it, and that brings in Jake Lucci. The Phoenix did get plenty of hits in this game, but it was also the walks that seemed to kill St. Joe's. The Hawks would walk 10 Elon batters. Later, though, it's Seth Knipe who is able to make it in time to steal second base. After Sebastian Gomez is also walked, Matt Kirkner hits a ball up the middle to score both Knipe and Gomez to give Elon a 4-0 lead. Thomas Girdwood was only used for 5 innings. He finished with 3 strikeouts and gave up 1 hit and no runs in his first career start. The Phoenix would go on to walk all over the Hawks by a final of 11-2. The Phoenix then traveled to Boone to take on Appalachian State for a weekend series. The result was the same as last year's series between the two. Elon swept App State to improve to 12-5 overall. With this sweep, Elon has moved into first place in the Southern Conference. In other conference action, the softball team traveled to College of Charleston for the weekend. They took the series 2-1, putting them at 13-5, on the season. Today, pitcher Lauren Taylor was announced the SoCon Pitcher of the Week by the league office. This is Taylor's 3rd such award of the season. This week in sports, the baseball team hosts the 11-4 East Carolina Pirates tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Then they travel to Western Carolina for a weekend series. Softball plays at home against NC State on Wednesday starting at 6 o'clock before heading to Boone to face those Mountaineers of Appalachian State for a weekend series. Bracket chaos has officially begun. The NCAA tournament starts this week. This year, 68 teams will compete in the tournament compared to 65 last season. That includes the Southern Conference's representative Wofford, who will take on the 3 seed in the Southeast bracket, the BYU Cougars, on Thursday at 7 o'clock. That's all we have for sports. Guys, back to you.
Who do you want to win the national championship?
I'm looking at the Kansas Jayhawks. That's who I got.
I'm looking at BYU. I'm a huge fan of Jimmer Fredette.
I'm sure you guys both know way more about sports than I do, but
that's all we'll have for you guys tonight. Thanks for stopping by.
Keep updated on our website, www.phoenix14news.wordpress.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great midterm week, Elon.